Destiny 2 isn't going to run at 60 FPS on consoles, and I know you're already rolling your eyes saying, who cares about frame rate, it's all about the gameplay, it's not about the graphics. But just listen, alright? 60 FPS is about gameplay. It's all about gameplay. It makes gameplay better. It makes it smoother. It makes it more responsive. It's nothing to do with graphics, alright? Anyway, now we know why Destiny 2 won't run at 60 frames a second or something like that. I don't know.
In case you're wondering what that was all about, Mike read the comments one time. We found out back in May that Destiny 2, Bungie's big sci-fi multiplayer shooter sequel, will run at 30 frames per second on consoles. Even on the newer consoles, the PS4 Pro and the more powerful Xbox One X, it won't touch so much as 31 frames a second. Disappointing news for fans of the smooth response of 60 FPS gaming. We were told at the time that it's just not possible to run the game at 60 FPS, and as Destiny 2 executive producer Mark Noseworthy eloquently put it at the time, it's on the CPU side. Destiny's simulation, like we have more AI, more monsters in an environment with physically simulated vehicles and characters and projectiles, and it's part of the Destiny magic, like that, like 30 seconds of fun, like coming around a corner and throwing a grenade, popping a guy in the head, and then you had like 5, 6, 7 players in a public event. This is incredibly intense for hardware. So he makes it sound like the game is just too damn awesome to run at 60 FPS.
Oh, damn! Now, the only concrete thing we were given was that the CPUs in the consoles just weren't strong enough to run Destiny 2 at 60 frames per second, so 30 will have to do. Mark Noseworthy has addressed this issue again this week, but we're still pretty much none the wiser as to what exactly the problem is.
I love the way your voice broke then. You got to keep that in. Exactly! Like a crow or something.
Nah, it was better than that. It was better than a crow.
What was it?
It's just something cool. Pterodactyl. Exactly. What we do have, however, is an alternative option. In an interview published in the October edition of Edge magazine, Noseworthy said, if you want to run Destiny 2 at 60 frames a second, just join the PC Master Race, you scrub. Well, that's not exactly how he worded it. Could we make a Destiny game that ran at 60 FPS, he said? Yes, but the space would be smaller, it would be less cooperative, and there'd be fewer monsters to shoot. That's not the game we want to make. But if frame rate is something that's really important to you, there is a platform now where you can spend as much money as you want to go as fast as you want. You see, Destiny 2 will run at 4K with a totally uncapped frame rate on a PC, and Noseworthy is clearly suggesting here that if that's the experience that you want, that's the platform you should play it on.
Very passively aggressively, if I might add. Basically saying, well, if you want to waste your money and buy it on PC, like you could be spending loads of money and just like get 60 FPS.
That's really that important to you.
What version of reality is he living in where 60 FPS is not important? Of course it's important.
What annoyed me was that he repeated the thing that they said in May, which is like, oh, there's just so much going on, the game's so awesome, there's like all this AI and all this space going on and stuff, and it's just not possible. That's kind of ignoring the fact that Battlefield exists, and that can run on consoles at a decent frame rate, and that's got 64 players in a match with vehicles, bullets flying everywhere. It's definitely more chaotic to play that than it is Destiny. So on the surface, to a normal gamer,
smells like bullshit.
Yeah, whatever the truth of it is, that doesn't really sound like it makes sense.
Is the point he's making fair? If you want to, you know, that attitude that he's got, if you want to play 60 FPS, just go and play PC then if you have to. It's like, is that a fair attitude to have? Basically, the hardware's fault. With all this talk recently of Microsoft's the most powerful console ever made, it's literally holding him back. This is what he's saying. The CPU isn't powerful enough to realize what he wants to do. Like, have all these things happen on the screen or in the game at once and run at 60 FPS. It can't do that. So does that kind of undervalue the big sell of the Microsoft Xbox One X now? This developer really can't do what he wants to do because the limitations of that biggest, best console ever made.
PS4 Pro is like, the idea of it being pro but not able to run 60 FPS is kind of completely counterintuitive. Like, you can make it look a lot nicer on the PS4 Pro, but you can't make it more pro by having, you know, 60 frames a second experience. Any professional esports player or whatever would absolutely take 60 frames a second over nice graphics or 4K, you know, graphics or whatever. It's a tough sell, isn't it? It's a really hard argument to put across when a developer's saying we just can't do it on these consoles, so we're going to have to go with 30 frames a second. Kind of sucks. The biggest thing though has to be just the fact that there would be an advantage for the people who've got those higher tier consoles. Like they've got an Xbox One X, they've got a PS4 Pro, so that they would have a competitive edge if they could make those consoles run the game at 60 FPS. Then all the other scrubs on the normal PS4, they would only be able to run it at 30. So be separating the player base. The gameplay for those people in that higher tier with those more powerful consoles, it would be better. They would have easier, faster reaction times, the more responsive gameplay. They would have a more fluid experience all around. They'd be able to react to things a hell of a lot quicker, and that is the reality of the situation. So maybe it's something to do with that they just don't want to divide the player base and give some players, the ones who fork out, an unfair advantage.
That would be a better defense in my head.
It probably would.
You should just say that. Should just say,
yeah.
But I don't know. So Destiny 2 is out on PS4 and Xbox One worldwide on September the 6th, and preloading has already started on the Xbox One for the heathens who pre-ordered the digital version. PS4 preloaders will have to wait until next week. So basically Microsoft have got the exclusive on the preloading now. Just
only on Xbox One can you preload a week earlier.
Just another example of them stretching the definition of the word exclusive. Exclusive.
Although it's probably Sony's fault for just not allowing it yet. That's probably that's actually what's happened.
There's also been some clarification about weapon loadouts for Destiny 2's big co-op centerpiece, the raids. Loadouts will be locked in the Nightfall strikes, so you won't be able to switch weapons halfway through a match. You will be able to do that in raids though, in order to stop people quitting the raid to equip new weapons before rejoining.
So Destiny 2 is coming up in 2 weeks' time. It's almost here. As far as what he's been saying about frames per second, does that really matter to a lot of gamers? For me, you know, I've already said this before, but I won't be worried about frame rates once I get into the game. When there clearly are people who prefer 60 frames a second, they want 60 FPS gameplay, and you're giving them bullshit excuse about the game being too awesome. There's too much going on. There's too much chaos in the game to run at 68 frames a second. That is bollocks. Just tell us the truth. I mean, the thing about it being a divide between the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X, and the lower tier normal consoles, that would be a much better excuse. Just say that.
So for those of you who do want to play in the glory that is 60 frames per second,
follow his advice as well if you want to do that.
The PC version isn't out until October 24th, so that's like 6 weeks.
It's a long time, a month and a half at the very least. You know what I mean? So he's telling you to just get the PC version, but then you're going to have to wait a much longer time to play it. So
the beta launches on the 28th of August.
Yeah.
So if you want to try it,
always take advantages of open beta demo. Innit? It's a free demo. Jump in and check it out. See if you actually like the game. Destiny 2 won't have 60 FPS on consoles. It's a flat no now. They're not budging on it. What do you think of their excuse? What do you think of their reasons? Let us know down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every day. There's another video right there which you could watch right now, and a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.